My initial research showed there were specific forms and conventions to rock magazines. The first I noticed was that the colours red, white, black and grey were commonly used on front covers. At first, I tried to challenge this convention by using blue and grey for my front cover, but found this didn't look right. I then tried using dark grey with red, but eventually used the conventions as a strength to make it look professional by using black with red and grey for the front cover and contents. I later followed this through to the double-page spread, so it all coordinated. Here are some examples of alternative magazines using this colour scheme. And here is how I use the convention in my own production. Also on the magazines, I noticed a few other repetitive features within the rock genre. There were circles and interesting shapes with cell lines in, photographs of artists next to cell lines, and freebies like stickers and poster features. As these conventions are used on most professional music magazines, I decided to use them too. I hope that this would make mine look more real and professional. Here are some examples of the shapes around cell lines, photos of artists near cell lines, and freebies. Here is how I used them. On my front cover, my masthead design is again inspired by existing magazines. I chose the font because I thought it looked professional, easy to read, and almost like the Metal Hammer font. The name of the magazine screams alternative rock. Poison was a nice and easy word to remember, fit the genre, and putting a twist on the spelling just made it more out of the ordinary. The spiky edges of the font complete the look of the masthead and make it edgy. I also saw in my initial research that almost all of the photographs in music magazines are of bands and artists, so I wanted to take photos of people who look like alternative music artists. The photography generally has aspects of the bands and artists' personalities in it, and so I wanted to portray that in my shoots too. An example of some photography that I looked at from Kerrang is this photo of Ollie Sykes. I took a lot of inspiration from that for my front cover shoot. I also wanted to show that the potential artist in my magazine looked quite shy, so the exclusive interview would look more worth reading. Here's my work and the professional work in comparison. The costume and makeup I used also linked to that photography, casual alternative costume and drawn-on tattoos on the arms. The other photos that I took used props such as lip rings, microphones and guitars to help show the genre. The models used were purposefully chosen because they either looked alternative or had easy access to the props and costumes. I followed the general layout that Kerrang has for my front cover because it's neat and easy to read, not too crowded and looks professional. Here is Kerrang's layout, and here is my layout. I also looked at Revolver. However, even though I preferred the look of Revolver's front cover and contents, they were harder to take inspiration from and successfully pull off without making it look amateur. I did try to base my own contents around both Kerrang and Revolver, using Kerrang's border style and picture style, the top of Revolver's contents and its fancy fonts, and this is what the combination turned out like. The written content on the double-page spread for my magazine was most like the Kerrang interviews in their magazine, because I read that magazine the most, so it ended up heavily influencing my writing. The article was an interview of the frontman of a band, and I am happy with how it reads as well as how it is set out. Here it is, and here's a snippet of one of Kerrang's interviews. Overall, I think I've stuck with the normal conventions of rock magazines and played it on the safe side rather than trying to create my own forms and conventions. My initial target audience did suggest in the questionnaires that I stuck to the conventions, and if they like the conventions, then it is best to use them so that the magazine would potentially sell. I think if I had tried my own conventions, it might not have worked as well, and so I'm happy with what I've done.